I've played Balatro for almost 1,000 hours, and these are the 10 worst jokers in the game. If you see one of your favorite jokers mentioned on the list, then feel free to personally attack me in the comments. Starting off at number 10 on our list, we have Superposition, which creates a tarot card if the played hand contains both an ace and a straight. The condition for this joker requires a very specific hand structure, either an ace straight from ace to 5 or an ace straight from ace to 10. Out of all the straights you're able to make with one specific card in it, ace is amongst the hardest ones, with only 2 possible combinations for straights. Straights in general are one of the harder hands to build around, and the reward, being a random tarot card, isn't really worth the trouble, especially if you're already capped on consumables or you just get one that you don't need. Its value is further limited by the fact that it doesn't really contribute to hand scoring. Only in your post-play economy does it provide something. In a game where every joker slot matters, its passive and inconsistent output makes it inefficient. For number 9 on the list, we have the Idol, which gives 2x mult to a randomly chosen card in your deck, and this card changes every single round. The fact that the target card is selected at random from your deck every round makes it really difficult to use this card reliably. If the card that the Idol selected doesn't land in your scoring hand, the Idol is just a blank joker for the round. Unlike jokers that scale with volume, Idol's condition is strict and unscalable. Its situational value rarely justifies dedicating a whole joker slot to it. But don't get me wrong, this joker can be very powerful if your deck is manipulated the right way, but until you get to that point, you're still very vulnerable. You could have 30 King of Hearts in your deck with 1 straight 9 of diamonds, and although it's very unlikely, the Idol could select the 1 9 of diamonds in your deck and most likely end your run right there. Trust me, it's happened to me before. For number 8 on the list, we have Vampire. Vampire gains 0.1x mult for every enhanced card played, but removes the enhancement before scoring. What kind of bullshit is that? Enhanced cards typically offer strong utility like extra mult or more money. By removing the enhancement, Vampire prevents those cards from triggering their boosted effects. The gain mult is laughably disrespectful without a large number of enhancements entering play consistently, which requires more money to spend on tarot cards to generate them, making Vampire dependent and reactive rather than proactive. If you've invested money or strategy into obtaining enhanced cards, Vampire actively diminishes that value for an underwhelming return. Who needs enemies when you have a joker like Vampire in your slot just actively trying to tear you down? Next up, we have the red card Joker, which gains +3 mult when a booster pack is skipped. Now booster packs are key to upgrading your deck, and you only get 2 of them every shot. Skipping one of these means forfeiting potential strategic resources for a modest mult gain. +3 mult is minor compared to other jokers that scale aggressively with card traits or hand patterns. Also, the pack must be opened and then skipped, meaning you have to keep spending money for this card to scale. It asks you to sacrifice valuable deck building opportunities repeatedly for limiting scoring payoff. In most cases, keeping a pack far outweighs the benefit of this joker. By the time you're in a position where you don't really need packs to upgrade your scoring, this card will most likely provide little value even then. Next up, we have the Sixth Sense Joker, where if the first hand of the round is a single 6, it destroys it and creates a spectral card. The condition of this card is very strict. You have to use one of your hands for one specific rank of a card, which is gone forever after you play it. This is extremely narrow and hard to set up unless you deliberately build around this, and even then, you have to consistently regenerate 6s for the best chances. It doesn't activate if a hand scores multiple cards or if it's debuffed from a boss blind, and even when triggered, the payout being a random spectral card isn't always impactful. This joker forces poor hand construction for a one-time benefit that may not suit your current build or timing. We're officially halfway through the jokers. Let me know what your least favorite joker is in the comments below. I'm always interested to read and see what you guys have to say. For number 5 on the list, we have Ceremonial Dagger, which destroys the joker to its right and adds double its sell value to this joker's mult when the blind is selected. The ability of this card means you constantly lose jokers unless you have expendable low value ones to feed it. Because the mult gain is based on the joker's sell value, cheap jokers don't boost it much, and expensive jokers are a major loss. Unlike the Mad Joker, which still gains mult when no jokers are destroyed because of eternal jokers or because it's the only joker in your slot, Ceremonial Dagger won't gain any mult unless a joker is destroyed. And you have to be careful not to accidentally destroy a joker you want to keep, making joker placements a tedious task. For a joker that only adds flat mult when eating another, it creates more risk and resource strain than upside. Up next, we have the Runner Joker, which gains 15 chips if the played hand contains a straight. Like I said before, straights are one of the least consistent hand types to hit unless specifically supported by deck thinning or card removal. Without those, hitting a straight regularly enough for this Joker to pay off is unreliable. The payout is also really low. 15 chips is basically nothing unless you're stacking multiple chip-based Jokers or working toward chip scaling effects. But then again, chip scaling is a lot harder since there are no multiplicative chip scaling Jokers, they're all only additive. Compared to Jokers that reward suits, face cards, or hand diversity, it's a weak investment. Next up, we have Loyalty Card, which gives you 4x mult every 6 hands played. Now, Loyalty Card is just disgustingly useless, requiring a lot of patience, and most Balatro runs don't really have that luxury. If you only play a few hands per round, triggering its effect could take multiple rounds during which the Joker sits completely inactive. I think someone needs to show Loyalty Card what a job application is, because it really doesn't seem to be doing much. You need extra hand generating Jokers to speed up the count, which makes it dependent on synergy. Even once active, the 4x multiplier is applied just once and not retained. It doesn't bank any mult between activations, and in tempo based runs or builds focusing on consistent scoring, Loyalty Card lags far behind more efficient options. Next up, we have the Flower Pot Joker, which grants 3x mult if the hand contains a diamond, club, heart, and spade. The fact that you must play a scoring hand that includes all 4 suits is extremely difficult unless your deck has perfect distribution. Smear Joker can make this a lot easier, and tarot cards may help, but the requirement is still tough to meet consistently. Unlike Jokers that trigger on a single suit or card type, Flower Pot demands complete diversity within one scoring hand, which clashes with builds that favor flushes. Before we get to what is easily the worst Joker in all of Balatro, I want to list a few honorable mentions that I wanted to include but couldn't justify it being worse than the current top 10. Our first honorable mention is Seyance, which creates a random spectral card when a straight flush is played. Straight flushes are amongst the hardest hands to consistently hit in Balatro. You need 5 sequential cards of the same suit, which require heavy deck manipulation or just flat out luck, but it is a lot more reliable with support from Jokers like Shortcut or Four Fingers. The reward being a random spectral card can be powerful, but it's not guaranteed to help your build. Even worse, it doesn't generate the Soul or the Black Hole, 2 of the best spectral cards. Seyance is best used early when you can afford to chase spectrals, but in most runs, it's a high risk, low frequency generator that doesn't justify the effort. Our next honorable mention is Obelisk, which gains 0.2x mult per consecutive hand played that isn't your most played hand. Now, Obelisk just straight up punishes consistency. If you play the same hand too often, like flush or a full house, it resets it to 1x mult. And to scale it, you need to play a wide variety of hands, which is hard to do reliably. It's also really annoying to track your most played hand mid-run, and if you accidentally play it, you lose all of your progress. Obelisk requires a flexible deck and careful planning, but most builds focus on optimizing 1 or 2 hand types. Without support from Jokers that reward hand diversity or extra plays per round, Obelisk is a risky investment with slow returns. Next up, we have the Stuntman Joker, which grants plus 250 chips but reduces your hand size by 2. Now, the chip bonus is huge, but the -2 hand size penalty is brutal. Many poker hands require 5 cards, and losing 2 slots makes it harder to form strong hands like full house or a flush. You'll need support from Jokers like Juggler or Troubadour just to offset the penalty, and without them, Stuntman can cripple your ability to score consistently. It gets even worse when you come across the Manacle Boss Blind, which gives you a -1 hand size as well. Having less of a hand size also means you reap less rewards from gold and steel cards, as well as blue seal cards. Unless you're running a chip heavy build with small hands like pair or high card, Stuntman's downside outweighs its benefit. And for our final honorable mention, we have Yorick, which gains 1x mult for every 23 cards discarded. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yorick is a legendary Joker and it has strong scaling potential, but in actuality, its activation is painfully slow. You need to discard 23 cards just to get a single 1x mult increase, and that's only if you're using all your discards efficiently. If you're running a deck like Green or Abandon, Yorick becomes less useful. It also doesn't synergize with Jokers that penalize discards, and you can't scale it during the Water Boss Blind. Unless you build around it with discard enhancing Jokers like Drunkard or Mary Andy, Yorick's ability isn't as good as it should be, wasting a valuable Joker slot. And finally, the worst Joker in all of Balatro is 8 Ball, and also Matador. I couldn't decide between which one of these two was worse, so they both get the number 1 spot for the worst Joker in the game. Matador is supposed to give you $8 every time the boss blind ability is triggered, but it doesn't even trigger for half of the boss blinds. Also, 8-Ball has never even triggered once in the entire history of Balatro since it's come out. I refuse to believe it's actually one of 4. Also, credit card sucks. Okay, thank you guys for watching, bye!